Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame. Namaskar friends. Today we'll talk something about Aurobindo, Aurobindo's poetry, short poems. You know about Aurobindo, a great rishi, philosopher, intellectually giant person, a poet, and freedom fighter from India. And he stayed at Pondicherry, southern India, for his Purna Yoga practices, which he achieved. He has written a number of books, number of poetries, number of dramas, and number of essays. We'll take up something about his short poetries. One of the short poetry is God's Labor. You know, Aurobindo, in his completely meditative mood, brings out so vast knowledge, and then he's having a profound efficiency, profound mastery over writing the poetry, or writing in prose also. And in God's Labor we see the purpose and process of this manifestation. Why this manifestation? What's the purpose of it? And how it has been. As if the divine is involved, it's in involution and evolution. And both the things, both the process, ups and downs, has been nicely narrated in a very dramatic way in 31 stanzas of this God's Labor. Wonderful poetry. It's very famous. The Almighty, that he vows to support the Lord's task all throughout his life, and he did. Aurobindo knew this. Aurobindo experienced this Almighty's work, and he vows, yes, I must collaborate in Almighty's work, and he did it. And he did it all throughout his life. Because the Lord loves its own creation, marvelously loves, and that is why he gives sacrifice. He labors for the world, though the manifested world opposes because of its dark forces, because of the clutches under the inertia. But Lord is Lord. It knows what to do and what is good for the humanity. So it unabatedly goes on working and working in spite of opposition. Ultimately, his mission, his aim is being fulfilled. That is the main core of this poem. Now let's go one by one stanza. I have gathered my dreams in silver air, between the gold and the blue, and wrapped them softly and left them there, my jeweled dreams of you. It's so wonderful it starts. A beautiful start it is. God dreams for perfectly true state of entire humanity. God himself. Only Aurobindo can think about such things. God dreams. He has packed them softly in gold and silver box. The dreams, packed them very softly, so that it may not wither away. He wants to create something divine out of existing inert and dark world. This is the God's sankalp. At any cost, sankalp means vow. At any cost, he wants to achieve that goal. He wants to realize those dreams he has kept for the humanity. Sri Aurobindo mentions about the jewel dreams. Dreams are jewel dreams. But really, it's really for humanity it's a jewel dream. For Almighty also it's a jewel dream. He has taken up a big task. Let us see. We'll see how he is laboring, how he is sacrificing in this coming. A merciful Lord is constantly thinking about his own creation, because he loves intensely. The very idea of dream of God itself is something amazing. It leads us to our abstract thinking of how the God must be dreaming. We can't think about it, but let us see how he has dreamt and how it works. We go to second stanza. I'd hope to build a rainbow bridge, marrying the soil and sky, and so in this dancing planet midge the moods of eternity. You see, first dream, what he had dreamt. Sri Aurobindo in the first stanza told about the jewel dreams. Now in the second stanza, what is this? What the laboring God is dreaming. Full joyous mood, Sri Aurobindo is writing and thinking about it. He must have thought in his higher consciousness that the God is thinking, is dreaming about joining the earth and heaven through a rainbow bridge. Rainbow indicates different of colors, not a dry bridge. Wonderful pathway between soil and heaven, between earth and heaven. He wants to heaven to come down through that bridge on earth, this laboring earth, this painful earth. The heaven wants to come down. He wants to bring down through the rainbow bridge. And earth too has to join with the heaven. As if the island is joining with the continent. Continent is also equally waiting for island to join. So both are, though apart, but they are craving for each other, and that the Lord wants to join it through this through this rainbow bridge. Lord wants the seeds of the heaven may be sown in this earth, this beloved earth, so that there may not be any division, any absurdity, any unconsciousness, any darkness, any suffering or sorrow on the earth. That is his wishes, because love. The Lord wants the ailing world to be like his heaven, for which he dreamed. He extremely cares for us, so he has decided to labor and lift the world to the highest level. And so, let us go to some beautiful lines of this stanza. The moods of infinity. The world can think about the moods of infinity after joining this through rainbow bridge. So in this stanza, Sri Aurobindo is preparing the plan. The God is preparing the plan. Now how to realize my dreams? We go ahead. But too bright were our heavens, too far away, too frail their ethereal stuff, too splendid and sudden our light could not stay. The roots were not deep enough. It was too bright. Heaven's light was so bright, poor earth could not bear it. God thought about it. It's too heavy. Because the earth is still not ripened. Earth is still not ready to receive such a wonderful grace. So God faces these difficulties. The first step, God finds this difficulty. Oh, my dream is there. I want to realize it. But I mean, the very first step, he faces this. Because earth has seen only darkness. Cannot think about the light, divine light. So it shivers. It may shatter itself by this wonderful light, dazzling light. one cannot hold balance of mind when one receives a wonderful gift. He loses the balance, which was unexpected. So God has to keep all these things into account. He wants to uplift the earth, manifested world, without having any damage, without having any jolt on that. But earth was not ready to hold and retain such price. This gift was not ready, earth. And so, God could not build the bridge at this stage of earth. At that moment, God could not bridge the earth and heaven, which He has dreamt. But that does not mean that the Lord has left the earth, manifested world, on its fate and on its just unattended. Come on, if you are not ready, I am not prepared to come. It's not so. The Lord turned away? No, He did not turn away. He has discarded the suffering bird? No, He has not discarded the suffering bird. But continue to pursue, continue to think about it, how it can be done. Continue to labor about it. This itself is God's labor. He is laboring outside and inside because He has to fulfill the mission undertaken. We will see how it's working, how the plan about it. Then He decided, He who would bring the heavens here must descend himself into clay. Clay, that is earth, our humanity, and of earthly nature bear and tread the dolorous way. If one wants to save somebody, he has to come down. He has to feel the pains, what the other fellow is feeling it. Then and then he can know what the suffering is. Otherwise in heaven there is no suffering. Here the God is suggesting to Himself. God is talking to Himself. I want to fulfill this dream. This is the condition. Earth is too fragile. Heaven's light is too dazzling. Cannot bear. What to do? Then God is analyzing Himself. It's just churning Himself within Himself. We may assume that Almighty is suggesting His own being, the small another being, which is going to labor, and that small another Almighty's being is going to labor, is going to actually start working, and which is ready to put the dream into action. The laboring part of the Almighty arrives at the decision. What decision? When the earth is not ready to fulfill the dreams, I have to, that is, divine has to descend at the lower hemisphere, in the lower earth, lower consciousness. And He has to bear the pain and sufferings. He has to wear the dress of the earth's consciousness. He has to breathe the air, that is foul air of earth, but He has to breathe that. If He suffers like earth, then only the divine can find the solution. If He suffers like the earth, then and then the real and correct solution can be found out. That is what He is thinking about it. That is what the divine is planning about it. And decides to plunge, to suffer, to labor, only to save the earth. Decides, all right, I will suffer for that. He does not use magic. He could have. He is a divine after all. But no, He honors the rules and laws made by Himself. And that's why He decides, all right, to sacrifice. And what a sacrifice? Why He should sacrifice? Because He was happy in His heaven. He loves the earth. Again and again I say, because we think the Lord is very far off. No, He is amongst us, inside us, within us, around us, and He loves us tremendously. Let us assume that. Let us keep the extreme faith that the Lord is extremely loving us, and for which He is sacrificing, constantly laboring for us. He enjoys. He could have enjoyed His Satchitan Anand, but He is a mischievous lover. Mischievous lover. He loves with mischief, with ananda, with some light things. He loves, not with some seriousness or some as if very bitter face, something very important work is to be done and be serious about it, nothing doing, no, like that. But very casually, mischievously, lovingly, he loves and he carries out and helping the laboring earth. He cannot be at rest when earth is screaming, tortured by whom? By anti-divine forces, by titanic forces that we see, we are experiencing right now. We overall having lot of sufferings, lot of some absurdities in day-to-day life, one way or the other. And Lord cannot afford to see like that. He cannot afford to think about it. My own created earth cannot suffer like that. So now the action plan is decided. What action plan? He has to enter into clay. He has to come down. That is his labor. That is his sacrifice. We go ahead. So Sri Aurobindo is giving us so wonderful picture. As if the God is thinking, is dreaming, then is assessing, then finds, earth is very weak, then is planning, okay, I'll have to plunge into the earth, and now we go further. Coercing my godhead, I have come down. Yes, come down. Here on the sordid earth, very miserable, ignorant, laboring, human grown, twixt the gates of death and birth. At present, this is the condition of human beings. Yes, come down. So as per the plan, God comes down to earth. Takes birth like normal human beings. Not that is a magic, so some special attendants are to be given, no special treatment are to be given, nothing doing. It's just normal human being. However, does not leave the divinity, because there is a mission behind it. Does not leave the divinity of the heaven, but conceals it, so that human being may not go away, may not be afraid of him, may not be afraid of his tremendous capacity to work. Because human beings always having a doubts, some limitations, so cannot afford to understand the majesties of the divinity. He becomes a fate-driven laboring human being, fate-driven and laboring human being. He becomes like that. He repeats the births and deaths. What is sacrificed by the Lord? For what? Why? The answer must be to divinize this beloved earth. He wants to divinize this beloved earth. That's why he does it, all these things. For establishing divine life here on the earth itself. That is the main function, as we know. So he has come down to human consciousness and to be a human. Ultimately, the Divine Mother takes care of her children. Whatever fashion she has to take, she will go, and ultimately she will take care of her children. Come what may. He shall escort us in absolutely smooth and safe modes. If we have trust, if we believe that he is a savior, then he will escort us. He will take us, holding our hand in a safe mode. It is our all-round duty to cooperate in his universal majestic yagna. If we know that the God is laboring for us, if we know that God is sacrificing for us, we must cooperate. We must, then and then it will be wonderful participation in this Mahayagna. Let us awaken to join him and get rid from all riddles. But human being is still not ready, still not accepting. And what he says, the Lord says, I have been digging deep and long mid a horror of filth and mire, a bed for the golden river song, a home for deathless fire. What was he doing for? Now the God has started his mission. He has come down, he has started his mission for which he has come. He wishes that the cool and wonderful flow of river and eternal fire, divine light may envelop the earth. I have come here, I have to bring this divine river. I have to bring the divine light on this and envelop this earth, hug the earth with all these divinities. To achieve this, he has started drilling the inconscient layers. He has started going, what's the cause of this suffering? So he started drilling the inconscient, layers after layers, layers after layers. And he faces the odds and horrors of inconscious world. But he continues. Because and cleaning with the brood of his divine light. He cleans all this dirt with this brood of his divine light, the filth and dirt of earth's consciousness. He labors and labors and labors only. His descent, one has to understand what actually descent means. The descent of the divine on the earth's atmosphere means unfolding of divinity. The divine drills the hard core of inertia and it goes on unfolding this. The divine is already present. It's already present, concealed in the inertia, in the dark shield. But as mentioned earlier, concealed, and now as per this, supreme wills unfolds. It goes on unfolding. Makes way, throws light into falsehood. But the very nature of unconscious dark forces prevent, fight with divine's entry into that kingdom. The falsehood, Titan, they have got their own fort, they have got their own kingdom. They were ruling the humanity. Their aids were the brutality, falsehood, absurdities, ego. All these things were their arms and ammunition. With that they were ruling dark forces. And they cannot sustain that. They are facing this light and they are opposing it. Because they do not want any entry of the divine into their kingdom, into that fort. But ultimately the divine is creator, Samrat above all. So nothing can prevent the divine of his task. Nothing can prevent to fulfill his aim and the dream of the first stanza at the beginning of this. Let us move with the divine as he labors. He goes drilling and drilling. Stanza number 7. I have labored and suffered a matter's night. What a wonderful words Aurobindo uses. And in this, we come across the entire scene, how the divine works. To bring fire to man. But the hate of hell and human spite are my meat since the world began. Since the manifestation of the world, the humans and hell both are hating the divine. The one who has come for the savoir as a savoir, that itself is hated. What a pity. The one who wants to save humanity is hating. From the very beginning, the world, the hell is ruling and blocks the divine to work. The hell is working and blocks the divine to work. That Sur and Asur war is going on. since the manifestation. We know that in our mythological stories. The divine works and labors tirelessly to ignite the ignorant human. He says, please wake up. I am there. You are going wrong. I am here. Please look at the light. Look at the Savior. Look at keep the faith. Don't cling to the darkness. That ignorant human. But they only receive the poison and arrows from the Titan. The Lord, if you think about this, Aurobindo is giving a wonderful picture about his journey, about his war. This is the inner war of higher world versus the lower world, the divine and anti-divine. Our laboring God is really experienced by Aurobindo. How Aurobindo can write like that, can narrate this such a wonderful scene. He must have experienced that is in the real God, the divine is working in himself and is scoring. He is seeing the process, he is seeing the results, he is experiencing. And see, whether we know it or not, but that war is going on within us. And that's why Aurobindo could write such beautiful lines and factual. It is not simply a lucid and some aesthetically nice wordings. Facts are also there. It's a factual. It gives us something concrete. Actions are being taken. Action thriller. We go ahead. For man's mind is a dupe for his animal self, hoping its lust to win. He harbors within him a grisly elf, enamored of sorrow and sin. Elf is a mythological animal. It's very ferocious, very dirty, very... One would not like to look at it. Such an absurdity, but very ferocious. So, he harbors within him a grisly elf. The man is harboring. So Aurobindo explains that why the work and desire of Almighty is opposed. Now opposition takes place, that we know. Why? Why these fellows are opposing Almighty, Divine's work, or negated by humanity? The laboring God finds in human being that still animality is clinging in him. The animal within is still remaining in human being, and that opposes the divine work. He is lured by the lust. The man is lured by the lust, and thus going away from the divinity. Human being entertains falsehood, rather remain completely in clutch of the anti-divine forces. It remains. It loves. I think human being is comfortable in the clutches of the anti-divine. He is illusioned by the smart and powerful mire. The basic things. Poor human being is illusioned by mire. It is their nature. The ignorant and confused human does not know the real and absolute truth, not even the slightest glimpses of it, as is clouded by the darkest and impenetrable rock-like cover. The human being consciousness is a rock-like cover, not prepared to accept. This is the reason that thought that though the God is dwelling in us, we are unable to have the little light which is our. But one day the Almighty will break open the closed gates and will pour the divine lights profusely. We should always think about it. We should always keep faith. The one day Almighty will break open the closed gates and will pour the divine lights profusely. And the elf to which Sri Aurobindo has mentioned will be vanished, will be erased. And in turn, humans will be enjoying the labor of the god. But right now it's a checkered play. The laboring god is working and fighting with help concealed in human being. Let us go to the stanza number 9. See, we go one by one stanza. I mean, it is very, very narrative, very interesting. The grey elf shudders from heaven's flame and from all things glad and pure. Only by pleasure and passion and pain his drama can endure. Only by pleasure and passion and pain his drama can endure. Whose drama? Elves. Now the poet brings the nature and capacity of falsehood. Opposing by the falsehood, we know it. Now what type of falsehood is? What is the nature? What is this capacity of falsehood to fight against this divinity? The inconscient is dark forces. Aurobindo, with a deep contemplating state, finds that the vultures are building forts of worldly pains and pleasures. They are building forts of worldly pains and pleasure. The falsehood veils itself behind the human weaknesses. Falsehood is taking shelter behind the human weaknesses. But as soon as it sees the marching divine light and purity, the falsehood starts shivering. Divine light is marching because it is unfolding everything. It's penetrating. It's converting, transforming whatever comes in the way. And now it comes to near this falsehood, which is taking shelter behind the human weaknesses, is shivering. It cannot withstand the divine light because it has never seen before. Falsehood has never seen before such divine light. It had its own ugly, beastly and absolutely absurd hellish world, which it ruled up till now. But when it faces the glory of the absolute truth, it tries to hide vainly. It cannot hide. Where can it go? Its dramatic show will be over. Wake up. The God is laboring for us. We adore and move further in our joyful journey. Let us wake up. Because God has found out the falsehood which is had. So slowly we can see the advancement of the God, advancement of the divine light, the planning, the preparation, the analysis, the assessment of the enemy, and like that, the capacity of the enemy, like that, Aurobindo is going very slowly, very methodically, and every stanza as if we are winning. We are having a victorious march along with Aurobindo. We feel like that if we really keep faith, Aurobindo's experience. Stanza 10. All around is darkness and strife, for the lamp that man calls sons are but halfway glimpse on this stumbling life, cast by the undying ones, O capital ones. Further he narrates the nether world, that there is darkness and quarrels. That is what the falsehood made up of, darkness, quarrels. On this unbalanced world, man is gasping and trying to get some light, some help from the dim sun, which cannot give light or cannot help the suffocating humanity. The humanity now gasping to get some light, suffocating. Such is the condition of inconscient world within humans. Aurobindo is step by step unfolds the reality of nether world. We normally call it a nether world, it's a dark world. That's all. But Aurobindo is very step by step giving us what the nether world consists of, what it is. So he says, step by step unfolds the reality of the nether world. which we are harboring unknowingly. We are harboring that thing unknowingly. It is not our fault. It may be basic our nature because the animality is there. It is a stage of evolution, of course. But we should know that we are also harboring divinity. And that, if we give recognition that, if we just awaken ourselves, if we make aware of ourselves about that divinity dwelling in us, that falsehood, which is unknowingly it is there, that netherworld, can be made the wonderful world for us. It is his chosen journey of uncharted route, full of enemies, that is full of revolts. But merciful Lord has come down to save us and to bring back to the lost, our lost divinity. You see, Sri Aurobindo says we were already divine. We have lost the divinity. Okay, then the Lord has come and will bring back the lost divinity. He labors with pleasure. God not only that labors with some crying thing, oh, I have to do this job of divinity. No, he labors with pleasure and he suffers with smile. The master has masterly worded poem. Our master, Sri Aurobindo, has masterly worded this poem. It's a joy to have smooth sailing with it. It's really a joy. As we go with the stanzas, line by line, meaning by meaning, it's really a wonderful joy. We go, stanza 11. Man lights his little torches of hope, ultimately now. Some light is coming. Man lights his little torches of hope that lead to failing age. A fragment of truth is his widest scope, and in pilgrimage. All-knowing Almighty says that struggling manifested world is having hopes on his effort, but it cannot take him to unknown goal. Now the man is hoping a little bit, but cannot take it to unknown goal. He doesn't know. He fails, tries again and again, without an inch of progress. He clasps the piece of truth. He clings to some piece of truth. Piece of truth. See, Aurobindo is using wonderful things which immediately enlighten us what he wants to say. Piece of truth, not the entire absolute truth. And enjoys failings. Since beginning of the manifestation, he enjoys failing. See, enjoying and failing, both the things. He remains in illusion. He is blinded, as such it is temporary shelter. Cannot protect fully. He is unaware that the eternal and infinite world is waiting for him. A rainbow bridge is under construction. Wake up, man, wake up. Lord is trying to bridge this heaven and earth. However, Sri Aurobindo is mentioning about man's pilgrimage tour. It's a pilgrimage tour. Maybe incomplete yet, but a direction can be tilted to the Supreme. His tour, his journey, his hopes are towards the Supreme. Sometimes man knows his weaknesses, but refuses to get rid of it. Sometimes man knows I am weak, but refuses to get rid of it. Because of inscribed egoistic nature. And the result is continuity of suffering. Janami dharmam nachame nivrutti, it's like that. Present day rational man may be surprised and perplexed as to how such paradoxical circumstances prevail. That knowing mistake, knowing this and cannot get rid of it. But rational mind is limited, conditioned, cannot think beyond its range. It has to get higher light, divine love, and absolute truth, which can only be shown by the higher power. And this higher power is working in our inner consciousness. It works in our inner world. How it works and why? It is lucidly presented by Sri Aurobindo in this poem. Our silenced mind can have some glimpses only. And Sri Aurobindo is bringing absolutely new lights and grace from the higher world to transform the present state of humanity. It is not only an idea or a beautiful thought, but a concrete possibility of reality, which he has already experienced. So this is the beauty of Sri Aurobindo. This is not a fiction, mind well, my dear friends. These are a concrete experience by Sri Aurobindo in his long meditative states, long years of contemplation and this practice of Purna Yoga at Pondicherry. So that is the beauty of what we are getting it. We have not suffered, we have not labored that much, we have not perspired this much. Sri Aurobindo has perspired, sacrificed for the entire life, and whatever he has gained, he is giving us. We should be absolutely grateful to him for showering such a wonderful grace and fruits to us. So we will go to stanza 12, but for that timing we just have some interval of 5-10 minutes. We'll come back. That's far. Wonderful.